A Study in Scarlet, where a legend begins. Hello everyone. Today, I'd like to invite you to travel back to a misty London afternoon in the 19th century, where a small room on Baker Street quietly opened its door to one of the most famous figures in all of literature, Sherlock Holmes. But don't worry, I won't spoil the story. I just want to take you on a gentle walk through the atmosphere of A Study in Scarlet, the very first novel by Arthur Conan Doyle that introduced this extraordinary detective to the world. When a young doctor met his destiny. Imagine a young, unknown doctor sitting in a rented room in London, writing a story he doesn't yet realize will change his life forever. In 1887, A Study in Scarlet was published quietly, almost unnoticed. Yet from those modest pages, Arthur Conan Doyle created an immortal symbol of logic, observation, and the power of reason, Sherlock Holmes. What's remarkable is that even in this very first novel, Doyle had already shaped the foundation of modern detective fiction, a mysterious case, tiny details that hide great truths, and a pair of contrasting characters, a cold genius and a warm narrator whose chemistry brings the story to life. Through their balance, Doyle invented not just a detective, but a literary archetype. A world, both real and dreamlike. If you've read any of Doyle's works, you'll know he doesn't just write mysteries, he creates atmosphere. London in A Study in Scarlet isn't glamorous, it's foggy, dim, and quietly tense. Every sound of carriage wheels, every footprint on damp pavement seems suspicious. The cold air, the flickering gaslight, the shadows stretching down narrow streets, all combine to draw you in, as though you were standing right behind Holmes, watching him lean down to study a trace on the ground. But this book is more than a whodunit. It's about the search for meaning in a chaotic world, the use of logic to uncover truth, even when that truth may be painful. Doyle doesn't write like someone telling a story. He writes like someone observing life, capturing details, and finding humanity in them. Where logic meets emotion, the humanity behind the genius. What makes A Study in Scarlet truly special is not only the case itself, but the relationship between two very different people, one who lives by reason, the other by heart. Between those two poles, Doyle finds a perfect harmony. We often think of Holmes as a symbol of intellect, but if the story were only about intellect, it would feel cold. The presence of Dr. John Hamish Watson, the narrator, gives warmth and humanity. Through Watson's eyes, we see not just Holmes's brilliance, but also his curiosity, his passion, and his quiet loneliness. That's why A Study in Scarlet isn't merely a detective story. It's a tale of friendship, of trust, and of how two contrasting minds can find resonance amid mystery. A style, both classical and modern. It's hard to believe this book was written more than a century ago. Doyle's storytelling feels timeless, natural, unhurried, and confident. He doesn't rush, he lets us observe, feel, and listen. His language moves with a quiet rhythm, like the steady ticking of a clock in a Baker Street room. Yet the novel is surprisingly modern. It celebrates logic, science, and rational observation, values that still resonate today. Whether you're a detective, a psychologist, or a data scientist, you'll find something familiar in Holmes's mindset. The relentless belief that every mystery has an answer if one observes carefully enough. The reader as companion, walking beside Holmes through every mystery. One of the strange joys of reading, A Study in Scarlet, is that you don't just read it, you accompany it. Doyle's writing makes you feel as though you're standing beside the detective, walking through London, sharing his curiosity. You're not pressured to guess the ending, you're invited to observe, to see the world differently. Every detail becomes a lesson in awareness, a trace of mud, a tone of voice, a fleeting glance. Doyle gently reminds us that life itself is filled with such clues, if only we take the time to notice. The modern lessons, hidden in Victorian fog. You might already know Holmes through countless movies and TV series, but returning to A Study in Scarlet is returning to the beginning, when Holmes wasn't yet a legend, just an unusual man trying to find his place in the world. Reading it today, you'll discover more than a mystery. You'll rediscover the charm of old-fashioned prose, the romanticism of a bygone era, and the freshness of Doyle's belief in reason as a light in the dark. It's a reminder that even in our noisy world, there's beauty in slowing down, opening a book, and letting your mind walk among those London fogs. Reading, beyond entertainment, when mystery becomes meaning. For many, detective fiction is just entertainment, but A Study in Scarlet goes deeper. It shows the beauty of intellect, truth, and perception. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and the idea that logic need not oppose emotion. The two can coexist beautifully. If you love literature, you'll appreciate Doyle's elegant dialogue. If you love humanity, you'll be touched by the quiet sincerity between the two main characters. And if you love life, you'll smile, realizing that sometimes the smallest moments can give birth to the greatest legends. The Scarlet Beginning, the color of mystery and humanity. The title, A Study in Scarlet, carries symbolic weight. Scarlet here is not only a color, it's a metaphor for passion, for blood, for the raw intensity of being human. It suggests that beneath all logic lies the pulse of life, beating, hurting, loving. That's what keeps this story alive. Because in the end, cases are solved and mysteries fade, but human emotion, fragile and fierce, is what truly endures. If you haven't read A Study in Scarlet yet, don't worry. No summary can capture what it feels like to experience it firsthand. The joy lies not in knowing the facts of the story, but in following its rhythm, the quiet suspense, the peculiar details, and the slow unfolding of character. As you read, let London's fog settle around you. Let the footsteps echo down Baker Street, and allow Doyle's world to draw you in one page at a time. And if you've read it before, why not read it again? Not to solve the puzzle, but to savor the prose, to hear the clock ticking softly on Baker Street, to see the pale morning light fall across the room, and to smile, knowing you still love that world as much as ever. In conclusion, literature has seen many great beginnings, but A Study in Scarlet stands out as one of the quietest and most enduring. It doesn't shout for attention. It simply waits for a reader willing to step inside. And once you do, you may never want to leave. If you're looking for a book to keep you company on a calm evening, when the only sound is the wind and the glow of your reading lamp, open A Study in Scarlet. Like millions before you, you may find not just a story, but a reflection of yourself. In Doyle's world where logic and emotion, science and art meet in the deep scarlet hue of humanity. So, what about you? Have you read A Study in Scarlet before? Do you think Holmes is really the man we imagine him to be? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't read it yet, maybe after this video, you'll want to pick up the book, open the first page, and begin your own journey with Sherlock Holmes. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you enjoyed this reflection, consider subscribing to Sleuth Pages for more quiet journeys through mystery and literature.